when
Oh
I
my
first...
God, when somebody tells me that they want to go work for corporate because they want a 401k or they want that insurance,
That
I'm
insurance.
like, what?
Exactly.
What? Are you kidding me? Like,
Yeah.
you bring an entrepreneurship, you're going to be able to get way more than a 401k.
Exactly.
And insurance, you'll
Yeah.
be able to pay it on your own with no problem whatsoever.
Exactly.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Upsiders podcast. Today, I have a friend of mine that we're in the same industry. We're women, and we're here to support each other. This is Rachel Garcia from CRE Capital. Hi there.
Hi. Thank you for having me.
Yes. So Rachel and I are in the same industry in the finance world, and she's been in it for about 13 years now, and she's been in the corporate side and is just joining us entrepreneur with her own business now. So I really wanted to have this episode because it's very interesting how different corporate worlds to the entrepreneurship world with women, right? The women empowerment is really
Exactly.
different. And we were talking just a little bit before, and it's such a different world. And now I see why women are always saying, you know, the men dominate this industry and
This
so
is
forth.
true.
But so we're gonna get a little bit into how the differences
The difference
between
between the two. Yeah.
Yes.
So thank you for having me. First of
Yes.
all, I'm excited to be here. And we were literally just comparing when I first, I remember having this conversation when I first met you. You mentioned, entrepreneurship and how your experience was versus mine. So I come from the corporate world, right? And climbing up that corporate ladder, it was not easy, especially because, as we both know, we're in a very male-dominated industry. So for me, it was a little bit of a challenge. And I know for you, it was like
Complete opposite.
I felt like it was a smooth ride.
I mean, it was a rocky road,
Yeah,
but it wasn't
yeah.
as challenging, I would say,
Yeah.
as yours. Climbing the ladder for you is so different on
yeah.
climbing the ladder when you're an entrepreneur.
Exactly, because
So-
you have people that, for me, for example, I had, managers, and I have, I had people that were on top of me, or that I was having to report to. So it was just it was a bit challenging for sure. I was with all three top banks, and I was a direct lender, and then from there I went to a brokerage. And same thing, I saw a little bit of that. And to be quite honest with you, now I understand. Now I get it. And now that I have my own brokerage, once I created CRE Capital, it's like, oh my gosh, this is where it's been.
Yes.
This is where it gets good.
Yeah, and it was funny because when we met, we were talking, and she's like, "Wow, but you're so nice. You're helping. We're talking about things that we're going to be able to collaborate with each other. We're in the same industry. You're not afraid of like competition. This,
Yeah.
I'm like, no, not at all. For me, it's so fun to be able to collaborate with other women in the same industry. There's so much business out there. You can
So
never
much
just
business.
say that you don't want to collaborate,
Yeah.
unless if it's somebody that's really like meanfully coming
or
towards you or trying to
and
take
I've
away.
had that. And we remember we
Yeah,
talked about
yeah,
it. Like,
so-
I've had that where they're like, trying to, get information just so they can go and steal your ideas and go do the same, which at this point, it's like, listen, like, there's no competition. Like, it is, like we talked about as well, like, I have a different style, you have a different style, you might attract a different audience, I might attract a different audience, and at the end of the day, there's so much business for everybody, right? So that's what's important. And I feel like as a woman in commercial real estate, I pride myself in that. I really do, because there aren't many of us.
No.
And so when I do see another woman that's in commercial that's badass and killing it, might I add, I'm just like, wow, like that's incredible. Like, hey, like let's mastermind, let's get together, let's share ideas, let's and that's where it's all about. That's what it's all about, right? Sharing that,
Definitely.
sharing that.
Yes, definitely. So, so that we could give you a little bit more content on what we're talking about, Rachel and myself, we're both in the same industry of the finance world. We are able to give financing to any type of business, for small to medium sized businesses, to obtain a working capital loan, a real estate loan, a equipment loan, any type of
Lines of
commercial loans, right?
credits.
So, yeah, credit lines of credits and so forth. So, this world, if you all that are listening know, it's a very, very dominant space, right?
It
Male
is.
dominant space, sorry. But I want to talk a little bit about the differences because, for example, Bobby and I started in this world like in 2000. No, what, 1995. We started in this world of finance, and I have never ever incurred a time where I have been not, put aside or not respected or when I come into a meeting. I've been in many boardrooms, meetings, and I get the respect because I'm coming in with, I own my own business. I
Mm-hmm.
have the knowledge. I know what I'm talking about. And I'm not having to be in this corporate world where they have, this squared box and they want to meet it. And then you have somebody that just that one person that for some reason either doesn't like you or is threatened by you or has another
Exactly.
person that they want to bring up because it's either their friend or their family.
Yep.
Now you don't get brought up to the next level or
Exactly.
given the opportunity, right? So I've never experienced this as an entrepreneur, right?
Yeah, but in the corporate
Yeah.
world, that's what it's that you know that that's very common, right? It's very very common. I feel like it's now changed. Ever since I started my company and branched out on my own, I feel like it's definitely changed. I feel like it's very diverse now. Like because to this day now I have all of the bankers sending me all of their deals, everything that they're declining, they're sending them over to me, and honestly, it's amazing. I love it. They keep me busy, but I felt that I really, really had to prove myself. You have to really, like you mentioned in our last podcast, it's knowledge is key. Know your stuff,
Yeah.
know your material, because if you don't know your material, especially in this commercial space, you're going to get chewed up
Yes,
alive.
100%. I mean, you can't expect to be respected or
Respected, exactly.
thought upon, hey, I'm going to call so and so
If you don't
to
know.
give her a deal when you don't know what you're talking about, right? Or
Exactly.
you don't understand the product that you're representing, correct? So,
Exactly.
knowing when you're in an industry, and no matter what industry you're in, right now we're talking about being in a finance, a commercial finance world, which is, again, a very dominant, male dominant. But if you walk into a banker or to a CPA or a vendor that's selling equipment or anybody that's needing your service, and when you walk in, you're presenting yourself with the correct, manners. You know what you're
Exactly.
talking about. When they
Yeah.
give you a deal, you're able to get it done. They're going to respect
Exactly.
you right away.
One
It's not a matter
exactly.
about if you're a woman or if you're a male. It
It's
doesn't
not.
matter.
As long as you
It's
know your material, I think that's what's really important. And once they start seeing like, oh wow, she closes, like she could,
yeah. She
depending,
walks her walk.
she walks her walk exactly in heels. Um,
Exactly. I love it.
in heels,
In
it's like
heels.
it's like okay, she's a woman to respect. She knows her stuff, and most importantly, she gets it done. Like she gets deals done. Like she
Yeah, and that's
closes.
different than in the corporate world,
Oh
right?
yeah.
You
Oh
could be
yeah.
as knowledgeable, you could have a degree, you could
All of
be
that.
the best in, you could get your stuff done the quickest, you're the super organized, you complete your task. But if that one person up in that ladder doesn't want to promote you or accept you,
Exactly. Or give
it
you that VP title, that executive director title. If they don't want to give you, certain things, it's like they don't have to, or they don't, It's like, it doesn't matter how much you produce, doesn't matter how much you close, what you do. If they don't like you, they don't like you. Like, that's just the bottom line. And they're going to make it very, very difficult for you to succeed. I was just sharing with you earlier about, climbing up the corporate ladder. And then after that, I went over to a big brokerage. Which I won't mention any names, but it was horrible. It was really bad. Just the person that I was under, it was just it was not it wasn't what it was. Like, I was there to do, multifamily, specifically in the multifamily space, right? And they had me underwriting my own deals, but then bringing in my deals. It's like, what do you want me to do? Like, basically do everything from point A to point Z. And it's like, no, like, I'm in sales. I'm a salesperson, right? And it just they made it so difficult for me to be able to succeed. And even then, I still succeeded. And I was like, you know what? I'm out. I'm starting my own company. Thank you for the motivation. Like, this is what I needed. Because if that wouldn't have happened, I would
You
have
would have stayed
stayed
there.
stuck. Yeah, I would have stayed stuck in that brokerage and just continued to close and continued, and just, it would have became repetitive. But when you have your own company and you know this, as an entrepreneur, it is the best. Sky's the limit. I mean, look at
Sky's the
all the
limit.
success you guys have accomplished. Like, that's incredible. Honestly, that's incredible. And so, and also very inspiring, right? So had I stayed with this brokerage, that I wouldn't have got to where I am today. Like, now, I mean, I run a very successful business, but had I stayed there, I would have just been working for
Yeah,
them,
to them.
under them, and
Yep.
that
You
would
know,
have been
I,
it.
I've always, I always doubted everybody that would tell me, oh, women empowerment, because, in the business world, they don't respect women. And I would always say, why? I've never been disrespected. But, after speaking to you, I see where this whole disconnect of, women are not respected or, looked upon the right way or dismissed compared in the corporate world to entrepreneurship. Because on the
Right.
entrepreneurship, when you come into a room and you're networking with men and you are speaking, you actually do better being a woman.
Yeah,
The
they
men
do.
love to be able to speak to a woman that understands what they're doing. When you go do a
Exactly.
sales call, like let's say we have a couple of vendors that send us their equipment deals to get it financed, and my rep went into a vendor, a big equipment vendor. They're very, very well known. They have banks that are
Hmm.
well known. They have 10, 20 banks. She went in there. The same day she went in there, she got 3 deals from them.
That's
You know why?
incredible.
Because she was a woman. She spoke really well. She knew what she was talking about.
Exactly.
And they submitted 3 deals to her automatically. So being a woman sometimes has huge
Has huge.
advantage,
Well,
right?
now I know.
It's like so, but I've always been an entrepreneur. I've never really worked for anyone, so
Yeah.
I never came across this. So I would always get so upset. I'm like, you know what? That's not true. You're able to get through whatever you want in the business world,
Yeah.
no matter who you are. It's a matter about your knowledge, your execution,
Exactly.
your manners, how
Exactly.
you treat people, being kind. But
Exactly.
but it's
But in that,
entrepreneurship
yeah,
world.
exactly. Because in the corporate world, it's not like that. And again, everything's been changing. When I was, already up that corporate ladder, I got to meet some incredible women that were, in the commercial space. And I was like, wow, like, okay, like this, like, very respected, successful women. And I'm like, okay, like, this is where it is. Like, this is what I'm talking about. Like, there wasn't any of that, like, what is it called?
Animosities or
Yeah, none of that
yeah.
where it was none of that. But I guess it's like, it took me, to climb all the way up the corporate ladder to figure that out, or to find, to get that. But now I feel like it's been changing. It's definitely been changing, and I feel like now it's a little more diverse. But regardless, I don't. It doesn't matter if you're a man or if you're a woman. It doesn't matter what you are, who you are, as long as you know your stuff. You really have to know your stuff. Knowledge is
Knowledge.
key. Knowledge is key, and at the same time, making sure that you're able to close the deal, right? Till this day, I mean, I have people that send me deals, even brokers that have been in the industry for a while, and jumping into this whole market shift, right? And how we were talking about interest rates and what
Yeah.
we're seeing and all of that. But there have been people that have been in the industry, entrepreneurs for many years, and still can't get deals done. And you know why? Because they're not shifting with the market. Yeah, you had all the great resources and
Yep.
you did all of that 10 years ago, 20 years ago. But now we're in a whole different world. It's a whole different environment.
A hundred
Rates are
percent.
crazy right now. So as we were having this conversation, what we're seeing right now is a lot of, bridge financing, hard money, stuff like that, because they don't want to secure a high
Uh-huh.
interest rate in this environment for the
Yes.
next 5 to 7, 10 years.
Yes, of course. In this industry right now, being that the rates have been crazier than ever, I think we're
Yeah.
back to like almost the 1980s, somewhere in there, that we're getting close to getting, we were back in 1980s. Of course, I was young back then. I'm still young. What the heck?
Yes, you
No,
are.
so but
Yes.
back then I think it reached like 16 or 18% interest rate. So
Wow.
I hope we don't reach
I
that.
hope
But
we don't. No.
and what I love about commercial financing is that you're dealing with business owners. You're dealing with
Yes.
a business that needs that loan
With
in
developers,
order.
investors, business
Yeah.
owners, like this is something
They need
that
it.
they need
It
it.
doesn't matter what's happening with the rates, with the market, in order to scale, in order for them to be able to survive, or whatever, they need these loans. So what's
Exactly.
good about these loans is that we're not too worried, unless if it's an investment property, like a real estate investment property, that you do have to worry about your rate and how long this loan is, because it does, go into your returns, right?
Right,
But a
right.
business owner that's a roofer, a window company, a
Of course.
trucker, this, that, the rates really is not important as much as the payment that is so important.
Exactly.
Is that payment going to be able to be covered by the income that the business is bringing in?
Of course.
So I love this industry.
Yeah.
We've been in this industry, like I said, for so many years. This is the way
Yeah.
that we made
course.
our wealth. But we don't have to deal with the whole emotional purchase of a residential
And I
or
love
personal,
that. And I honestly
personal
love
loans.
that. I can't emphasize this enough. I tell residential, lenders all the time, honestly, I don't know how you guys do it. It's too emotional for
emotional.
me. Yeah, I'm like this is like, we're doing this or not. This
Yeah.
is a payment. This is the rate. Do you like it or not?
Yeah.
Simple as that. And it's very transactional, and it's a one and done, and you're good. You're done.
Yeah.
Right. And with, on the residential side, I'm like, I've never been on the residential side ever.
Yeah, me
I
neither.
straight jumped into the commercial. So I don't even know. I can't even speak for it, but I could only imagine it being emotional and,
Yeah.
oh, well, I don't know if I want to get this loan because I don't like the fence on that house, or I don't know. I don't know.
Yes,
That's how I
and no,
picture
and
it. I don't
also
know.
too that they're taking money out of their pocket to pay for that loan. They're not having
Yeah.
the business pay for the loan payment, right?
Exactly,
So
exactly.
that's what I love about this, commercial loan industry, and a lot of people, especially women, don't understand this business. So being that now I opened up Rain Finance Group,
Yeah.
that was the main purpose, was because this is such a lucrative business.
It is.
And there's so many, but there's trillions around the world businesses. There's trillions of businesses. Small to medium are the ones that really drive the economy. As your
Exactly.
small to and those small to medium sized business owners don't know that they have the ability to these loans,
Exactly.
because the banks have this square box that they can lend
Right.
on, and they turn them down
And
because they
that's
don't
where
fit
I
their
was.
their criteria.
And that's where
right?
I was. And that was one of the biggest reasons why I decided, and this goes back to, why I decided to start, CRE Capital. I felt that same way. I was on that side. I was the banker that was like, oh, sorry, we can't do your loan because you don't fit this little box. And so here I was trying to figure out, okay, like this client needs a home. Like, where am I going to send him? And after doing that for, so many years, I decided, you know what? I'm going to start CRE Capital Investments to be a resource to everybody, not just your A paper clients.
Yeah.
A paper meaning that they have great credit, they have, liquidity, they have,
Great
great
financials.
financials, right? So that's what we call an A paper client, right? And I wanted to be able to have resources for everybody that needs a loan. Like, oh, I have, I have it. I'll take care of you.
Yes.
Versus, after 2 3 months of trying to work with you, I tell you, oh, sorry, your loan was
Yeah.
declined. Well, why was it declined? Oh, you had a bankruptcy 10 years ago. Well, that was 10 years
Yeah.
ago. Yeah,
Or you only
sorry.
have $10,000 in the bank and we needed 10,500. That's
Exactly.
like why.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So
Yeah.
honestly, I love it. I love what I do. It's a passion, and not only is it a passion, but it's fun. I love it. I enjoy
Yes.
it.
Yes, me
Yeah.
too. I love to be able to see that small to medium sized business owner be able to um, get their funds that they need in order to scale, in order for them to even open a business.
Exactly.
SBA loans are great. They take a long time,
Amazing.
but they
Yeah.
help so
They help
many.
so many
I
business
mean, it's the
owners.
that opening up a business. A lot of people don't understand
Yeah.
that they have the resources because
Yeah.
banks can't. Doesn't
Mm-hmm.
mean that there's not resources out there for you. So yeah, it's
Exactly.
it's a great feeling to be able to help all these business owners be able to fulfill their dreams of their business scaling.
Exactly. And a lot of them don't know the resources that they have available. They have been, leasing for years and years and years. And it's like, do you know that you could have already paid off your building? And with that equity, you could have gone and bought another one and bought another one. And that's how, the rich get richer,
Yeah,
right? They buy and then they get enough equity and then they pull that equity, go buy the next one and then keep doing it and doing it. And next
yep.
thing you know, they're owning all this real estate. And that's the beauty of it. I
Yes.
love commercial.
Yes, also I know I do too. I love it. And also a lot of the fix and flip beginners that want to
Hmm.
start,
Hmm.
they don't know where to start, and we're able
To
to
help
help
them.
them,
Yeah.
get their first loan so that they could get that experience in the finance, have that under their belt, under their credit, so that later on when they start growing, they're able to go get traditional banking loans, right?
Exactly.
But we have the capacity to be
We
able to
do.
help these
Everybody.
smaller investors, small business, medium
Yeah.
size, even the
Yeah.
large investors, were
Exactly.
able to help. I know you just finished closing a
Yeah.
$5 million deal, right?
Most of my deals are pretty good size. And again, this is, a lot of the stuff that I get, I mean, I get stuff from everywhere, right? But a lot of this stuff it comes from banks that are turning down these deals, or that just need that, bridge financing, or a lot of these banks can't go projection based, right? On SBA, we're able to do that. We're able to help them, and we get it. COVID happens, life happens. Your financials are not always going to be, in great shape. So we get that. We understand it. So we make sure that we find, that debt, right? And a lot of these banks, it's like, oh no, sorry, you didn't do very well, the last
Yeah.
2 years, so we can't lend to you. And it happens all the time. So
Yep.
that deal that I just closed a few weeks ago, that $5 million deal, that was from, from a big bank that was like, can you help with this client? Great client, and they still got to keep the
The
relationship,
relationship, yeah.
because I don't want your deposits. I'm not a
Yeah,
bank. I'm
not a
just
bank.
here to help you. I'm just here transactional.
Yep.
Like, that's it. That's all
Yeah,
it
I'm being
is.
your partner. I'm
Exactly. I'm
helping you
being your
keep
partner.
helping you
Exactly.
keep your depositories.
Exactly. And then once he's good and ready and bankable, I send him back to you. And
Yep.
You do the
And
loan
you keep
after the
on
five
doing.
years. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, it's a
So it's
great
just,
business.
yeah, it is. It is. And I truly enjoy
Yeah, I
it.
do too. I love it. That's why, with the Rain Finance group, I'm really, being able to bring in, and my goal, of course, everyone's accepted, but my main goal with Rain is that I really want to bring in as many women
Hmm.
that want to become an entrepreneur
Yeah.
and don't know how to get started. They don't
Hmm.
know what they want to do.
Exactly.
They want to do their own business, but they just don't know how to create the business. So with Rain, I'm going to be able to give that opportunity to everyone. but
Of course. No,
women
but
is my,
for
women
women,
is my
yeah.
passion. Some
Yeah.
women they're stay-at-home moms that now have time because the kids have gone to school or they're off to college and they had a career back in the day and now they don't know where to start. Or
Exactly.
your realtors that really are not doing really well because now
Oh
the
yeah.
residential
Oh yeah.
arena is not doing well. All of
Yeah.
those type of women and men that are looking to become entrepreneurs, like what you did,
Yeah.
that you left the corporate world
Yeah, it took
and
me a
just
while.
go
I'm
on
not
your
gonna,
own.
to
I'm
be
giving
honest
them
with,
the
and that's
vehicle.
incredible. I wish I would have met you years ago. Honestly,
Yeah,
it took me it took me a really long time to take that jump, right? Because it's for me, it's taking that leap of faith, right? And for two, it's like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna go from like this high paying salary, like I was making
and making
really
zero
good money.
salary.
And I can't emphasize this enough. I was making really good
Yeah,
money, already up the corporate ladder to nothing,
yeah.
to nothing. So I had to,
Yeah, and no,
really
and then you have to have expenses because no matter what,
expenses.
even if it's a
Yes.
small business, there's still expenses in a
There's
small
still
business.
expenses, and then on top of those expenses you have your bills,
Your
your
personal,
life, your
your
personal
personal.
bills. And
Yes,
and
yes,
I'm not cheap.
yeah,
I
yeah,
love to
yeah.
travel, I love to, and it gets, it gets challenging. And when you first start your business, it takes a while to ramp up. It takes a while to like get your business going, your book of business, and to get your clients and
Yeah.
everything. Like it takes a while. So I wish, honestly, that's the only regret, is that I wish I would have done it sooner and taken that jump sooner. And had I had somebody like you, years ago when I
Yes.
first started, it would have been so much easier and just a smooth transition. But I mean, thankfully, there was some trials and errors, but
Yes.
now I'm where I am, and I'm super grateful for it. So
That's
yeah,
awesome. Yeah, it's great. And again, we're going to go back to the same thing, is that, the corporate world, your parents, the outside world all tells you you need a degree, you need to go to corporate world so that you could be secured. But you know what? Corporate world, it's so funny because people think you're secured and not compared to a corporate and an entrepreneur. Oh, they say, well, entrepreneur, you're never going to make money fast, this, that.
yeah,
But the corporate world, you're secured and you're going to make a lot of money. Well, guess what, guys? Being an entrepreneur and making no money at the beginning is more safe than being a corporate world, because in the corporate world, you never know the day you're walking in and that they're going to tell you, can you please come to my office?
yep.
Here you
You're
go.
out.
And
This
you're
is your
out the
last.
door. This is your
Yeah,
last day. And you
exactly.
had no warning.
No
An
warning. Yeah.
entrepreneurship, at least you
You
know
control.
you're
You control.
controlling your
Exactly.
destination. Okay, this month I know that I'm going to be short because I didn't make this much sale or whatever it is that you're doing. You're at
Yeah.
least knowing I'm 30 days out. I'm 48. I need to get the fire
Exactly.
going. I need to, you're gauging. You're that gas gauge. You're seeing it, right? So
You're in
you're able to put
control.
gas,
You have
or
your you
you're
have
gonna
your
go to
foot
empty.
on
You're
that
gonna put it
pedal.
on here.
Exactly.
You never
You
know.
don't.
You have no
Their
control of your
corporate is
destiny.
in control
Yes,
of you. And look at how many people got laid off. Look at how
that's what
many.
with no
Look at the bank that
warning.
closed.
With no
With
warning.
no warning. Thankfully, that never happened to me. Thank God.
Yes,
But
but
you just never
you
know.
never
You
know. So
just
that's
never
why
know.
don't listen to the outside world, guys.
No,
That
especially if they're not
noise.
in your
Shh.
shoes.
If they're not entrepreneurs or they have that mindset that they have to work for somebody, that's okay. Let
Yeah.
them have their own mindset. But if
Yeah.
you really have it in your heart and in your gut that you know that you can be out there
And
and
you can
you could
bring
be
business and
you
do
could
the
be an
business. Yeah.
entrepreneur. Listen, if you are you able to be organized, be persistent, be have tenacity, you're gonna be able to make it as an entrepreneur. It's just a
Exactly.
matter of what you want to get out of this. So PMA all day, every day, and you'll know that you'll get there, because
Yeah.
Bobby and I come from absolutely $0, no
Exactly.
high school diploma, no degree, and today we were able to build an empire, both
Exactly.
in the real estate and the financial world, and
Exactly.
we're doing, thank God, knock on wood, amazing. I would never give it up.
Yeah, and if you guys haven't heard their story, you guys need to hear it, guys. Very inspiring, really, really inspiring. And yeah, I completely agree. It's to me, it's entrepreneurship is like it's honestly the way to go. And
Yeah.
I wish that I would have gotten a mentor or somebody to kind of like tell me, hey, like get into that, that entrepreneurship mentality. And I've always had it, but I just always doubted myself. You have that doubt, and then as
Yeah,
you touched
well,
on, your family, your friends, like
when you have a secure paycheck that you think it's secured,
exactly,
you're going
and
for
then
that.
you have those benefits, right? And
Oh
then
yeah,
you
I love
have
the benefits.
you gotta love the benefits. No, when
Oh
I
my God,
first
when somebody tells me that they want to go work for corporate because they want a 401k or they want that insurance,
that
I'm
insurance,
like, what?
exactly,
What? Are you kidding me? Like,
yeah,
being an entrepreneurship, you're going to be able to get way more than a 401k. And
exactly,
insurance, you'll
yeah.
be able to pay it on your own with no problem whatsoever. Oh,
Exactly. So
yeah.
yeah, so I would, if anybody is watching this that's really interested in taking that leap of faith, just do it. Honestly, do it. Look at her, for example. Like, they just did it. Even if whether you want to take that corporate route or that entrepreneurship route, whatever one, but make sure that you eventually figure it out and get into that entrepreneurship as soon as possible, because I can't emphasize this enough. I wish I would have started sooner, and I wish I would have just taken that jump. But then you have your family, like, how are you gonna leave this high paying job? What, are you crazy?
You've got to put on those earplugs.
And now
Earplugs.
they're like, oh,
Yeah.
okay, qué bien,
Sí, sí.
wow, okay,
Sí,
yeah.
cuando le enseñas lo que le puedes regalar o le puedes lo puedes llevar a las vacaciones.
Eso, sí, sí, sí.
Yeah, yeah, that's awesome. But
Yeah.
yeah, so if you guys have any interest on being entrepreneurship, reach out to me.
Yeah.
We'll give you tips and
We'll help you. Yeah.
ladies and gentlemen.
Gentlemen.
Reach out to me. You could also check out my website, rainfinancegroup.com, and you could also reach out to
me,
Rachel.
always happy to
Yes.
help. We're always here with open doors. It's a we're think of us as resources. No what is it called?
No animosity.
No animosity, no like
None.
nothing like that. If anything, when we connected, I was like, how can we collaborate? Like, you have your company, I have my company, you're doing great, I'm doing great. Like, let's collaborate. Like, that's what
Yes.
it's all about. And woman empowerment, and really like seeing each other out there in the field. Like, we have run into each other at events, and
Yeah.
it's like, hey, like, how are you? It's just
Yeah.
like, and it's incredible. Most will look at you like really, like, she's here, like my competition. Like, no, there is no
Not at all.
competition.
There's too much business
Too
out there.
much business
and when
out
you're
there.
a true entrepreneur, you
Oh, yeah.
have no competition.
Exactly.
know?
It's all about collaboration. Like they
Collaboration.
say, collaboration is happening at the top,
Yep.
not at the bottom.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for being here
Of
today. It was
course.
awesome being
Thank
able to
you.
share this information with
Yes.
others. So
Yes.
if you guys really enjoyed this, or you know somebody that would love to listen to this, please hit the like button, send us a DM, and sign up for the YouTube channel so that you could get way more information that we have weekly for you. So see you on the next one.
Bye.